Vinpraten denne gangen vi på Villa Heftig I Oslo. Ikke så veldig langt unna Italia, men Bibi Graetz, welcome to the podcast. And we're going to talk Norwegian, English, but not Russian. We're going to talk about the news release of your wines. But first of all, how are you, Bibi?
Happy. Hi, thank you. Very well. It's always a very good period of the year. We're now working on the blends of the new vintage, so it's really exciting.
So in the winery, it's 22 you're blending now.
Yeah.
So, but you're calm. You're relaxed.
Yeah. It's well, it's always the most exciting and challenging time of the year because everything is we work for creating amazing wines the whole year, and then when it comes to the point of really putting the wines together, it's suddenly you start having ideas and things, and you start tasting new wines, and you fall in love with them, and then you have an idea of where you want to go, and every year it's a different story. So the wines are really reflecting the moment where you're doing the thing, when you're doing actually the blends of the wines, because we have all the vineyards, we keep them all separate, one by one.
And just to explain, you're saying the wines, you have many wines that you're blending in, and how many is it? How many?
Well, we have at least 60 different parcels that we keep separate.
And then, who is very close to each other sometimes, but you're like mixing.
Yeah, I mean, we have two wines, we have the Testamata and the Colore. The Colore is where we have. I've been since the beginning. I've been in love with the story of creating wines with the old vineyards, and there we have an amazing combination of really very old.
But before we go to today and what you have today, we have to look a little bit to the history, and many listeners and viewers have heard that story before, but we need it again. The story of how you started, and so we make a shorter version of it. But as I remember, I've been to the castle where you began, and you started with two empty hands and a big head full of, after time, arranging parties at the castle. And then they were starting, now I'm going to make wine. And then you can start.
Yeah. Well, in fact, I started working when I was 25 at the castle, creating events and activities around the castle to animate the place and to create make kind of the place live, live further. And but then after a while, I realized that it was not exactly what I was not a guy. I was not born for service.
Yeah.
I needed to do something for myself and to kind of create something. Yeah. And within 100 different things I tried, and then suddenly I started playing a bit with the vineyard that we had, and we had 2 hectares of vines at the castle, and we used to do very nice, simple canties for the house. And I started playing a bit with it, and then I went to, at the end of 99, I went to visit a winery. One of my best friends told me, Bibi, you like this thing here? You should go and visit this friend of mine. They do a really cool wine, and they sell this wine in Japan, and they sell it exclusively to Enoteca Pinchiori in Florence in Italy, and you should go and see him. And I thought, sure, why not? And I went there, and I completely lost it, because it was like being in my house. It was like the guy was my age, 33 at the time, and he was doing this amazing project, and I just,
this is what I want to do.
This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I started, and I obviously I started thinking big because I'm a bit megalomaniac.
You are. We are coming back to that later. First of all, we start with the beginning, because the beginning was not big. It was...
No, it was not big in practice, but in my head it was already.
So you were taking over Italy.
Over the world.
No. But you're being thoughts about the quality or just size? No, it's...
No, I don't know. Just something,
something.
It's something that I wanted to do something special. Really nice But
was it because you want to be seen, or it was something personal that you want to build something for yourself?
No, I think it's like to for yourself. You want to do something to.
But because of that time, when did the kids coming? It was after.
Yes, that was
after time.
Yeah.
So you were okay. So I understand that this project of going into wine business, I heard it before. So one taste, then you are inside the wine, and you never leave. Yeah. Wining and dining, we know that. But in the beginning, you have some help to start, and because to start and make wine, it's not easy peasy. It's a lots of details was coming in. So
when I started, before I actually decided to go 100% in, we used to do the wine and we used to continue doing the wine, the house wine, and we started using a bit this guy who was a DJ in the castle, and he came in.
A DJ?
Yeah, he was an enologist, and he was doing DJ. His father was an enologist, so we were using him a bit. But then when I met this friend of mine that was actually doing a serious project, he told me, "Hey, here, you need something really, that can bring you where you want." Somehow, because we had really the basics, and so he suggested me to hire a winemaker. Actually, he suggested himself they were doing really there still. The father of the guy that I visited in this winery is one of the top enologists in Italy.
Yeah.
Or in Toscana, and they offered me to help me as a friendship to start. And I told them, this is not possible. No friendship here. It's like, okay, but when I go full in, it's going to be too much for you to handle.
Yeah. Okay. So you knew that.
I knew that. So I said, no, not possible.
Yeah.
And but you can help me choosing the right person.
I have people to talk with. Yeah. Because winemaking, after my knowledge, is more that it's decisions made long before the final taste. So you taste of grapes, you taste of tannins, and then you follow the process, and then in the blending, as you do now in the 22 vintage, it's really the game, really in the end, because you are rated, in the end, that if you are not doing a good job, boom, you're ruined, not ruined, but you can have a bad blending, and then people don't think that's nice.
Well, it's a process. Obviously, when you start, you need to have the basics now, which I didn't have. Especially at the time, the winemaking in 2000 was very, very kind of manipulative, in the sense it was a lot of concentrations.
Yeah.
When I started in 2000, the fashion, what people liked, what the press liked, was this really really, really.
Do we talk about the Robert Parker period or?
It's the 2000s.
Yeah.
It's when I started, it was full. It was like hyper concentration and 300% New York, kind of story. And so when I started, I was completely. I didn't know anything, so I took all this information from this winemaker, and which was a great job. And we made some really beautiful wines that were really fitting the period, at the beginning. But I really saw immediately that it was not my thing, because I was working so much in the vineyards to create these beautiful things, and then to kind of all this concentration and things was kind of ruining what the nature was giving somehow. No? So I felt this feeling very strongly. And after 3 years that I was working with this enologist, I said, okay, no, now I need to work by myself. And
when you received the world best wine in 2001 vintage, how did it happen? After the second release of the wine, and then, I have the best. What happened? That exploded the fax machine? Everything you boomed, or?
Well, actually, it's when you start doing a project. I started doing a project, and I really went full in, 100%. And winemaking is very depending on human being. It's a thing that you do with your hands, with your eyes, with your hands, with your soul. So and the season is as a yearly season. Every year is a new season, and the growing season and the wines and everything. So you can actually change dramatically, from if you have a good terroir, if you have an old vineyard, if you have it, everything is there, you can do some beautiful, simple wines, or you can really put yourself in and transform it in something extraordinary. And so that's what I did. I just went full in, in the vineyards, in the firm every day, every single process, doing it.
Learning and doing and tasting or
thinking, learning, and developing in my head was the informations to go somewhere. No?
But it is possible for you to be critical to yourself, or you're always critical to yourself? What you do? No. I mean, when you're working with wines and achieving the world best wine, and very high scores around the world, you have to be critical to yourself. Are you critical to yourself, or you're just this is my way?
Well, actually, I am very critical to myself.
Yeah.
In the sense that I really do the best I can, but then I taste.
Yeah.
Also wines from other people.
Yeah.
And I realize that what I'm doing is it's an amazing job, but I see that there are also people that are doing better than me. And it's like, shit, motivation for doing even better.
Because one of your goals, did you told me maybe about 10 years ago, on the harvest party you did, 300 people attending, more maybe, and a lot of fantastic in the evening off in the hills of Tuscany. You told me that that Sassicaia was one of the I'm gonna make wines of Sassicaia. When the first thought about Sassicaia is a well-known super Tuscany thing who's coming on, so it could be a mentor in some ways. Today it's not. It's just many wines who makes wines are very good. Sassicaia is an icon, yes, but they are new icons, and that's what I think about your wines. Not only me, but many. Is a kind of icon. Maybe it's the wrong word, but you are building, for the moment now, your legacy for the next 20, 30 years, but also together with a new setup. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But do you feel that that the introduction to making this brand explosion of the second vintage was the world best wines, that it didn't help you in the beginning? Because the stressful was coming. Oh, good. Well, I've been lucky enough to taste all the vintage some years ago, so I've seen the kind of what's happening.
Listen, when it happened in 2000 and with the 2001 vintage, so it was 2003. It was so much at the beginning that it didn't really put me pressure in the sense of I reached the goal. What's the next goal? It was like more a miracle that kind of it was really necessary somehow that something would happen, because I shoot it so high and so sky high with the project that after a couple of years I didn't even know what I did. It was kind of starting from scratch with no experience, building Testamata in colore and shooting them sky high price and goal of quality and everything. But it was kind of really important to have a statement of something, and this was like a miracle for us. It really brought us and on.
But also brought it to the front page.
It was also very encouraging for what we were doing. It's like, okay, we have that.
You have the possibility to make.
It was much more critical when we got the Wine of the Year in Wine Spectator in 2006.
Okay.
That was really with the 2006 vintage in 2008. It was practically nearly after 10 years that I was working.
Okay.
And there it was a bit critical for me because, you work for when I started, I didn't know that I would really become a wine guy. I just fell in love with the project. I said, this is a project guy, and I kind of gave myself 10 years of my life to wine. And I said, okay, let's start. I'll do 10 years and then we see that. So after 9 years, I started thinking, okay, maybe I must start thinking about something else now to do now. And then this thing here came, and it kind of was like if you get an Oscar, kind of, you get, okay, it's like a final thing of a project, and you have, boom, okay, so what's next? And that was a bit challenging for me.
Because you're easily forgotten in the wine world if you're doing it. It's a one-hit wonder, and then obviously very easy to criticize the new thing,
But what happened after, which was actually helpful for me, for my process, is that after that thing there, you had the Lehman Brothers hold financial crisis, which made the game really tough for everybody, and for us as well. And the fight becomes really hard, and that actually suddenly I just went through this.
Because in that period you also make other wines, you make lots of other wines and so on. So it was not only one, but you're making a business who's growing, working a lot and so on. So all the aspect of making wines, of course, but also the same with to sell, because as many says, you can easily make the wine, but to sell it is one goal, but to resell it, that's the problem. And then you're coming to people re-drink my wine. That's the key. So you have the wheel spinning. So and that takes time. And of course, in Norway, you always have good press. You always have wines. Today, we can say that you are making many steps. You go into the third floor now. You're not in the second floor anymore, or the first floor, but you're in the third floor. And you can also see that, sadly enough, you will spend less time in Norway the next 20 years than now, except from your holidays, because you're doing your holidays in Norway still. But
it's for me, Norway has always been a very, close.
Yeah. But the balloon was exploding. It was a lot of interest. You were making quite easily a brand or a name. You were mentioned in the front page, and still have more or less the same design thoughts, even if the designs on the labels are different. It was some time that you're making wines, but not big quantities. But then it stepped forward, and we're going to now go up to the latest news. That means that you started in a castle. You were living there from a childhood and up to the event manager, and then 2 hectares was business. And then you leave the castle. Could we start with the leaving of the castle, how and why, and then the new project in the little town that you have at Spør? So if we start here, why did you leave the castle?
Well, the castle is a family place. It's a large family now with the cousins and uncles, and it's a large family estate owned by many different people. So from when I started with the Benedicte, we were always thinking, you know what, we would really like to have our place now somehow at a certain point. But it's tough to find a place going from the castle away and from such an amazing place, and move on. It's not easy, And it was, and to build up the company, it took a lot of time, and it's always you always struggle with the finances
Right.
and building a company. So we didn't really, we had this plan, but we didn't really have the possibility of doing it.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point in 2013 or something like that, going back to what you were thinking about Sassicaia, I said, hey, come on, guys, but here, everybody, all the winemakers in Italy, they want to make a Sassicaia, but we are all doing, 10,000 bottles, 15,000 bottles of our top wines, and then we do all the entry levels, But I mean, Sassicaia is 260,000 bottles. What are we talking about? So you know what? I want to make 300,000 bottles of Pestamata in Cologne. And then, so I actually changed completely.
And the mindset before.
My mindset. And started saying, okay, how should we do that? And we had the chance that we had kind of, we had already been really focusing on the quality of all our wines and wanting to increase the quality, and also of the Casamatas and also the Soffocone. It was more, kind of having, I wanted to bring Soffocone, the same quality of Testamata, but having Testamata only in barrels, small barrels, and Soffocone in the large vats. But the wine that we're bringing to the Soffocone in the last years were really amazing. At a certain point in 2015, we got a big score from Jim Sackley, 99 points on Testamata. And instead of increasing the price, which is the normal thing you do, we decreased the price and went really large and put all the wine in the Soffocone. We put a big blend on Testamata and we went big. We started going big. And now Testamata, it's more than 100,000 bottles, 120,000 bottles. And Colore went from being 600 bottles to 30,000 bottles. So it's big.
It's a kind of rethinking what you do and then plan and then you introduce this.
And then now it's kind of because we had a really, huge growth in the last 6-7 years. And now we reached a point where it's really interesting because we're kind of consolidating what we did and we bring it even higher,
But you moved from the castle to the Hotel Aurora.
So what happened is that then actually this move suddenly gave us the possibility of thinking in a different way, also finances. Because suddenly we went from the
small winery
to sky high now, and I mean it happened.
You have money in the bank.
We have. I mean, suddenly we had the
money in the bank.
Whatever it is. Much more possibilities now. So we started thinking. We were looking around because we were looking for a place for making farm, and then I took my agency that was helping me for finding a place. And I said, "Now, okay, forget about everything. Now we just think big, not even big. Just show me the best places you have in your portfolio of houses, and let's think without any frame." So they started bringing me in places that were costing 25 million. Again. But they said, sure, let's go and see. And then suddenly there were a lot of swimming pools and but I was not thinking at the price. I was just thinking if it was suiting for a winery, And then suddenly we saw this place, which was this old hotel in the main square. And actually, we started entering and we went down and there were these warehouses full of trash and it was never ending. We were opening another door and another big room and another door and another big room and another go down and another big room. It was endless. And I said, okay, here it's actually possible. And
because this is just outside in the hills of Tuscany, so you have a view of
it's technically Florence.
It is technical.
It's like you take the bus from the winery.
It's from Oslo to Holmenkollen.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
More or less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even shorter. I mean, it's like from Florence down. It's like.
But the village structure was solid.
Yeah.
Quite solid.
I mean, we needed to do a lot of work, but
lots of work. You have done amazing things.
We really did everything.
Yes.
But so it was a 2,600 square meters.
Yes, so it's not an easy piece.
Of the room.
Yeah.
It was still open as a hotel, but it was raining in the room.
Okay.
A bit scruffy.
But just in the hillside of Tuscany, you made a new headquarters.
Yeah.
I have been lucky enough to visit you in front when it was just recently after. And for some, in 2021 or 22, I was there revisiting. And at that time, we were still building, but I saw what you have done inside and always kept the flow of making wines. But also you see that you are building technical structures with all logistic, everything that happened more or less around that building and under and everywhere. So you know, but you're also living there.
Yeah,
it's your home.
Yeah.
So kind of your own castle, but in the modern version.
Yeah.
But you said to me the first time that we're going to make 8 rooms. I say, good. Then we have a place to live in Tuscany. No rooms ready for rent. Maybe you have the rooms, but the hotel thing is gone. You have changed the name of the building.
No, we haven't.
No, it stands Hotel.
Still,
but is people coming in to say, hello, I want to rent a room?
No.
Okay,
it's off. But maybe now we're just still focusing on the wine, and maybe in the future we can.
So what happened that you moved from the castle throughout towards to be bigger? You have now new facility that you have capacity to make more and more business. But then many things happen in the vineyards because more wine meaning more vineyards and more. And how did you source the wines to become and maintain that? Because I feel that could be very, of course you have 2 hectares, it's 2 football fields, it's not today it's easy peasy, but in the beginning it was difficult. But now you are on a bigger scale of everything you do. And I know that you bought a new tractor or 2 in the top standards, but how do you think about maintaining it?
Well, it didn't happen overnight.
No,
I mean, all the part of the vineyard happened in 20 years. I mean, so we slowly we managed to get hold of this amazing plot of vineyards. Many fantastic plots of vineyards that we use. And then after we bought this amazing winery, which is really, really an incredible place. It's really now it's finished. It's really beautiful. And after we bought this in 2020, we had the chance of the opportunity of buying this amazing plot of land. I've always been in love with looking at vineyards that were high up in the mountains. And we found just like 10 minutes behind the winery, a plot of 90 hectares. Now that we have been studying, we managed to buy and to start planting and to create our own vineyards in a really, really fantastic space. And
are you friends with Frescobaldi now?
Yeah, we are all good friends.
Okay. Frescobaldi for certain things for the listeners and viewers. Bibi Graetz was hijacking that property. Just maybe short. I want this, and you bought it. Yeah. And Frescobaldi is one of the larger players who just played a bad game to prices, and you paid more, and then you got it.
Yeah, but it was not only that; it was also the fact that this huge land was they wanted to buy this land here, and then the COVID came, and so the deal got freeze because of the COVID. And when after the first wave of COVID, Frescobaldi is a machine with hundreds of people working, and it took like months for them to reorganize themselves. While we are like small and fast, so we just came in between them.
Then you had it,
and we are
lucky you.
Yeah.
But how is the cows? You bought some cows. So.
The good thing is that they negotiated for us the price.
Yeah, and then
they really, really tear it down to pieces. So like they were going to buy for 340,000 euros.
Yeah,
which was zero for the plot. And when I went there and the guy asked me 360, I knew that he was asking me 20,000 more than what he asked Frescobaldi, but I didn't have the time to couldn't lose the deal.
Yeah.
And there were cows on the place because when we came there were 50 cows eating grass on the place. So I gave him the hand, shake the hand and said, okay, 316, but you give me 10 cows.
Yeah, and they're still alive.
They're still there.
Yeah, good. Yeah. So the cow was the deal breaker.
The cow was the deal breaker.
I've been lucky enough to see the property, and it's a beautiful, amazing view to Tuscany and France and down when it's open site and so on. So it's a kind of amazing site, but also is this higher altitude planting of vineyards more important now, or it's just that you have amazing possibility to make 90 hectares of your own, because you have done a lot of work in the vineyards.
Well, listen, it's a combination, because I have always been looking for vineyards on the top of the hills. So if, and then it was, I don't know, it was the natural thing that I would get the opportunity exactly where I want. It was a dream, It's like from God, something.
Yeah.
Bring.
Yeah. Yeah, 60,000 now euros.
Well, yes, now everybody's talking about, what's the next phase of what is out, the future, but we didn't went for this reason. We have been just always in love with the making wines from from red fruits, the perfumes, the elegancy of the wines, these fruits.
When are we going to see this 90 hectare? What is it called? Have we called it something?
Well, we call it the Tempio. We call it the Tempio. The temple.
Yeah, the temple. Oh, wow. Of course, something from God. The temple. Yeah, okay. Good. But when is this in full production, you think? Because you're taking small steps.
Yeah, we do. Now from 2000 to 2020 to now, we planted 10 hectares.
10 hectares, yeah.
And we are now we're taking a little breathe but kind of we want to plant like 1 to 3 hectares a year now.
Yeah, it's a long project.
It's a long process because also we like to play. I like to have the feeling that I want really to plant the right thing.
Yeah.
So I go and choose my own.
So you have not decided total what kind of grapes and so on?
No, it's I'm going through it.
Okay. So the cows are goats.
Yeah.
Fixing. You have bull also? No.
No, we don't have the bull.
No, okay. We should be there. Yeah. But as the viewers and so will see it, okay, you're thinking far ahead when you are planning because, of course, if you're making 300,000 of the top quality wines, you have to have a good vineyard. And the best thing to have is your own, of course. Natural.
Sure.
But it will also take us to the release of the 21 of the Colero and the Tomato. And could you tell me, you're not blending now, but how was the blending compared to 22 to 21? It was you feel that you do the same thing, or is it just a new painting that you have to?
It's every year it's a new painting. No, it's I think we have been having this big evolution in the last years. Here we're gonna, so 2019 was already. I've been looking for this elegancy in the wines. Now, also, there's been a big transformation into the style of Testamata and Colore. Before, until 2019, there were a bit two of the same wines. And now
they were similar, or
one kind of bigger than the other, but kind of similar, no? Then in 2020, I decided to really make two different wines. So Testamata is a representation of the fresh side of Sangiovese, coming from vineyards that are all northern sites and coming from very fresh areas. So it's kind of showing the freshness and elegancy and transparency and acidity side of the Sangiovese. So a fresh wine, kind of.
Yes.
Rather than Colore is 100% done with this really old vines. And you have this, the old vines has something magic.
Yeah, maybe it's called concentration or length, combined but with
it's this vibrancy.
Vibrancy, yeah, vibrancy.
It's the flowers.
Yeah. It's the movement from 91 to 95 points in my head. That's the vibrant. You see the sensation of something.
Yeah.
Who is a little step, but a very important step. So it's a kind of I call it a Grand Cru step.
It's no, so the wines are now two different wines standing on themselves and talking two different languages and with two different goals, no? And two fantastic wines, no? And but very different, no? Which is very cool.
But could you place the 22 vintage as today compared to 2019 and 2016? What is the 2015 was? I mean, my top of the game vintage, but all of them are highly scored afterwards. But I think the sensation of the step was coming in 2013 and 2015 for me.
Absolutely.
But also, I tasted the wine some years after release, not like now, quite fresh. But now I'm just sure that it's over 95 and it's good and it's amazing journey. And it feels for me as just a taste of your work that the steps you're more the vibrant thing is there always. But we are having release tastings and so on. And I don't know how good the wines are compared to 2015. It's something going on, and that's just exciting. That's why I like to follow you, Bibi, because you make a Testamata in Colora, but then you also have another project, with small productions or extracts, who's just fucking amazing. Not better, but you kind of a new painting. But we're going to discuss that later.
Okay.
Now we're going to compare to this. But if we have a taste of the Testamata, how will you describe the wines and what they could use for? Because this is not anymore a wine day-to-day wine. It's a wine who is well priced. It's one of the most known icon Italian wines become. It's a kind of a new wine from Italy. If you are interested in wine, you have read about Toscana, as we did. It's kind of a statement, but new producers are coming. You are one, but not so many of them, who is coming out of that league, that you have enough wines and just not having 20,000 bottles of this is our best one, we just make more. It's all occasion and it's over. You have enough wine to increase and you have plans to do more at that level. Please, what is Testamata 2021? It's your best wine to know? You don't know, Beck.
That's a hard call, because every vintage is new. I can tell you one thing, that we changed this. Developed this concept of doing two new wines now from 2020, and I think 2021 we made a big step forward, because we made this choice of making this, fresh Testamata and more round, more powerful, more opulent colore. But I think that in 2021 we really managed to kind of step forward towards this. I was thinking, when I made these two blends, I was thinking of something a bit explosive. Should go a bit in that direction, that kind of create something that had a lot of energy and spark, And you see, there is a big difference.
Yes, it's like a football, not in the look, but inside is a football that is tight, and then it's just like it's exploding, but it's balanced.
Yeah, that's what I want to
strength are coming now in the inside of acidity levels, compared to others who have a football that is too much tannins or too much acidity. This is compact, like not big in your mouth, but just going as something constructive, and that's what you're paying for, because if you're blending 60 miles compared to this, and enough, and that quantity, it's amazing.
It's fun. It's a very fun process, and so this was
drinkable. Boom! Now at once.
Yeah, because we don't use any kind of concentrations. Not in the vineyard. We don't drop fruits to concentrate. We don't do any bleeding we don't use cultivated yeast. We use very, very little new oak. We buy like 1% of new oak. So it's all about the fruits and the power of the grapes. And to really get the grapes to show themselves. So that's what's kind of fun of the wines, because they're different from most of the wines, if you know the word. Because
this is not Tuscany normal.
No,
but it's a well-made wine.
It's
coming from Toscana.
It's also what the comment is talking about, talking with many other wine producers, and the difference is that there is no consulting here. It's all me.
It's you.
And it's my expression. It's how I wake up in the morning.
Well, did you look good? But then now that you need a coffee before you talk with people. So I know.
Well, after 2 plates, I need coffee.
That's good there. And maybe a cigarette. Maybe between someone. But Testamata, yes, it's present. You can easily drink it today. You can store it for a very long time.
And the fun thing of these two wines is that you have this. You don't have black fruits, and you don't have the big texture. You have the red fruits and this light texture, this energy of the fruit. So it's so it's so it shows, and it becomes also interesting on a point of view, let's say as a story by himself, that you are doing wine coming from a cool area, though from the top of the mountain. It becomes kind of this is what we are thinking. Somebody is doing something that is actually important for the future, because everybody's thinking how it's going to be planted in the future. And it's kind of
but the festival stuff, I just recently now tasted the color and just compared it. That if you're comparing them together, you can see that this is a concentration. Well, it's ready, and then you have a color it's a little more tannic. It's a different kind of structure, but in the same way, a bigger football, and it's amazing. Length is stronger, and you see that this is a wine for the really storage, and just that could be fantastic. But if you bring it to food today, it's beautiful to lamb or something. So this is good.
For me, it's very important that the wines are drinkable. I make my wines to pair with the food and to stay on the table with friends and have fun.
Yeah,
that's the main goal. Now, is not to forget. I mean, it's not a performance.
No,
I mean, it's okay. It is somehow. I want to do the most beautiful wine possible. But it's like when you make a drawing. It's like when you make whatever you do, you try to do it beautiful. No, it's but the ultimate goal is to drink it.
Yeah,
to make something that just the bottle must get empty as fast as possible. That's the goal.
You maybe need some talk with your doctor. Empty drink bottle, and you have your own winery. They can go real fast.
We don't be dangerous. Can be
Bibi, it's always nice to talk with you, and I'm looking forward also to follow the wines. And luckily enough, I have been tasting your in a special vertical for some years. I feel a kind of connection to your history by the taste. We meet in between years, and I follow closely what you're doing by taste. And I'm so happy that you're visiting Oslo here in Vinofil. We're going to taste more wines, but you told me that you're going to tell me a story about the island.
Yeah.
So we need a new episode. So thank you for this tasting and short introduction to the best wines. In the podcast, in the video, we'll find my reviews of the 2021 vintage with some more details. This is wine who is not so many of coming to Norway, because the location could be, of course, big as hell. But be aware, this is the wine you buy for the next 20 years. And if you drink it every day, you're going to be more closer to heaven, like the temple. Say that. Skål.
Skål.
And skål, as we say in Norwegian. Skål. Skål.